reputation, I guess, of having bad hands, which he doesn't. He had broken hands and played through it, and then gets criticized for it when he can't catch the basketball. Well, I told you if there was some breaking news, I would have another show for you this week, and it just so happens that we got some. Welcome into Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Osland, here to bring you good news in the form of Big Zoo getting paid a big bag, a well-deserved contract. As Adrian Wojnarowski reported that he got a 3-year extension at $58.6 million. That gets him max available money for his next 3 seasons. He's now guaranteed $70 million over his next 4. Congratulations to Ivica Zubac. Well-earned, well-deserved. And I'll tell you why in this episode, and maybe I'll even splice in some clips to help buttress my point and support it, as VTB would say. Because I am and have been one of Big Zoo's biggest fans for a long time. And I'll try to make the case for why you should be as well. Because to me, he's been one of the most underrated players, an unsung hero on this Clippers team, and I don't know where they'd be without him. He's been an Iron Man. He's been Mr. Consistent. This last season was really the first where he missed a significant portion of the year, just getting to 68 games. Before that, 76 games, 76 games, 72, 72. And remember, those were shortened seasons back then. His first full seasons with the Clippers was during the COVID hiatus we had before restarting things in Orlando. Ivica Zubac has been Mr. Reliable. And I am so happy that the Clippers value him as many of us do. Because I think Ivica Zubac is one of the biggest Rorschach tests you can have for knowing if you know ball. He has a lot of detractors. There's a faction of fans that don't understand what he means to this team. It makes me sad. It makes me sometimes call people a casual. I don't want to have to do that, but I've done it at times on Twitter. And some people are saying this is some massive overpay. Ivica Zubac is going to average about $17 million over the next 4 seasons. That they gave him the maximum they could on that 3-year extension, when the salary cap will be up by at least 30% at the end of this, based off projections. It will be. Guys, he just turned 27. We haven't even seen the best of Big Zoo yet. I think we got a glimpse and a sign of things to come in the playoffs this past year against the Dallas Mavericks. When I said for them to have a chance, he's going to have to average about 17 and 10 heading into that series. Well, he was close. He ended up at 16 and 9. And the only reason his averages weren't higher would be because I don't think he was featured enough after game 1. I don't. When he had 20 and 15 and was detonating at the rim and dunking on Gafford and Lively and taking them to school and using the left hand, as I've called him for years, a long-lost Gasol brother. Yes, it's high praise. I think Ivica Zubac is far more skilled than people realize. He has a plethora of moves. He has a bag that he can reach into, an arsenal of moves on the block. They just haven't exploited Big Zoo in the good way enough. They haven't given him the required minutes that I think he's going to get this upcoming season now, because he's paid more, because he's coming into his prime, because they don't have Paul George, they don't have Russell Westbrook. 2 high-usage guys are gone. Ivica Zubac is going to get plenty of opportunities, plenty of touches to prove himself. But something that always helps a player get a little bit longer of a leash, well, they say money plays. There can be politics, seniority, veteran status. All of these things can come into effect when it comes to playing time. Zoo is reaching all those benchmarks now. When you're making, after this season, $20 million per year about, you got to see what you have. You got to see what he could do offensively. Here's what we know and what areas Ivica Zubac has been thriving in for years, and what already makes it worth it. When you take into account the NBA and defensive anchors and guys who are great at guarding the rim and how they are highly sought after and valued. Well, last year within 6 feet of the rim, at his position, no one was better. Within 6 feet of the rim, teams only shot 51.8% against Ivica Zubac. Best in the league. Ahead of guys like Chet, Hartenstein, Kristaps, Gobert, Embiid, Jokic, everybody. All his peers, Ivica Zubac was better than them. And I'm here to tell you, this isn't a fluke.
I don't want anyone to have anything easy at the rim.
It's a credit to his consistency because he's always been in the top 5 when it comes to rim protection. The year before, the 22-23 season, teams were shooting just 54.2% within 6 feet of the rim against him. He's in the top 5 then. The 21-22 season, a little bit higher, 56.7%, but still one of the best in the league. In 2021, 53.7% within 6 feet of the rim. That was the opposition's field goal percentage. In the 19-20 season, his first full season as a Clipper, teams only shot 48.6% against him. Again, number 1 in the league. Nobody was better. And he did that with broken fingers, by the way, which people seem to forget about conveniently. So he's bookend so far in his Clippers tenure, being the best rim protector in the 19-20 season in his first season with them. And in his last season, just this past year, was also number 1 when it comes to being a rim protector in the NBA. Can't tell you how important that is. Can't tell you what a difference that makes. It's not just because he's some athletic freak or because he's big. He's great at playing angles and being disciplined. He has great instincts on the interior. He patrols the paint and creates a moat, as Carlo Jimenez and I like to say. And when he's on the floor, because I know some of you are saying, why weren't they better defensively than last season? They finished 17th. Well, when Zoo was out there, they had a defensive rating of 112. Without him, it was about 3 points per possession or per 100 possessions higher. So you go from being a top 10 defense when he's out there to closer to a bottom 10 defense without him. He can only do so much. This has been my gripe. I've been losing my mind a little bit about the lack of playing time from Ivica Zubac, especially considering the backup center options. And this season, there are more unknowns there. I like the potential of Mo Bamba. I like that he already has an NBA skill and is proven to be somewhat of a stretch big in limited time. But he has shot above league average from 3, above 36% from 3 on over 700 attempts so far in his career. He's had seasons where he shot about 40% from 3. That's not nothing. He's 26, still young. Maybe the Clippers can tap into more of that potential and show what he can do. I'm excited for that signing. I think he has more game than we've seen so far. I'm excited for Kai Jones. Non-guaranteed contract. Needs to prove it in training camp. I'm rooting for him. But last season, Daniel Tice and Mason Plumlee, who just looked like he had lost his basketball powers after the Julius Randle play where he ran into his knee. He missed significant time, came back, maybe too soon. I don't know. Guy was trying to tough it out, but he wasn't the same player, and he's getting up there, I think 33 or 34 years of age, Big Plum, now with the Phoenix Suns. His instincts at the rim, the opposite of Big Zoo. He might be a better athlete or can still jump higher. This guy was in a dunk contest at one point. But teams use it against him. He's overly aggressive. Big Zoo stays down when he needs to and doesn't fall for nearly as many pump fakes. That's what makes him special. That's what lets other guys be able to float a little bit more, play free safety. Oh, Big Zoo's behind me. I'm good. Ivica Zubac is going to make up for my mistakes on the perimeter. he's worth this much, and I think it's still a bargain. Because right now, coming into this next season, he's going to be making less because he's still on his old deal before the 3-year extension kicks in. So they got him the next 4 years. He's still going to be making less. No disrespect, but less than Marvin Bagley. Former top 3 pick. Sacramento Kings, I think, took him second. Bagley is making $12.5 million this season. Ivica Zubac is at $11.7 million. Marvin Bagley, I think, has played 50 games the last couple of years for the Detroit Pistons. There's still high potential there, I suppose, because he was such a high draft pick coming out of Duke, the expectations, all that. But he's doing this on a really bad team and getting paid more than Ivica Zubac. That's crazy value that the Clippers are getting. And will continue to get even when he's making closer to $20 million because the cap will continue to go up. And there's only a handful of guys that are as good or better than him when it comes to protecting the rim. I think he's already a top 10 center in the league. He's 27. And what I'm most excited about is I think his big opportunity is now. Mentioned Paul George out, Russell Westbrook out. The Clippers need to use Big Zoo on offense out of necessity finally. It's no longer an option to feed him here and there, keep him involved. What Shaq always used to say, if you want the dog to protect the house, you better feed him. It's natural. It happens all the time. When big men get more involved on the offensive end, they're even better on the defensive end. Well, Big Zoo, the unsung hero doing the dirty work, a thankless job, it seems like. He's already good defensively. He's already played his role there. He's earned more touches and opportunities on the offensive end. And he has shown enough with what he just did against Dallas in that series, bodying their centers and giving the Clippers a chance, even without Kawhi Leonard throughout most of it, where he was the second best player in that series. Behind James Harden, it was easily Ivica Zubac. Then Terrence Mann. More about him in a little bit. Then Paul George. I have been screaming this phrase for a long time on Clippers Talk. There is an easier path to victory. There's an easier way to win. An obvious path of least resistance. And it's Big Zoo getting involved on offense. Because guess what? You may not believe this. You may think and have these images in your mind of him dropping passes back when he had broken fingers, and that's still playing an effect on you. Our guy Carl Tart, who I love, always brings this up with Ivica Zubac, and he's not the only one. Many, for whatever reason, they won't let him shake that reputation, I guess, of having bad hands, which he doesn't. He had broken hands and played through it, and then gets criticized for it when he can't catch the basketball, when he probably shouldn't have been out there. And that was their first impression of Big Zoo. First impressions do a lot for you. He hasn't been able to overcome that with some people. So even if it only happens seldomly now, whatever it does, they have it stuck in their mind that, oh, this is who Ivica Zubac is, and always has been, and always will be. None of that is true. Ivica Zubac, believe it or not, I know this is going to rock the foundation of some people's basketball principles and minds, and there's going to be a paradigm shift, hopefully, because I tell them this. This is that Rorschach test. Those who saw Big Zoo as a good player probably already knew this. From 5 to 9 feet out, he just led the league in field goal percentage from 5 to 9 feet out this past season. He just shot in that area 63.8%. That's better than Jokic shot. Yeah, Jokic took 200 more shots in that area because they feed him much more. He's one of the best players in the NBA, and I'm not saying Ivica Zubac is him, but I am saying from 5 to 9 feet out, he just shot better than Jokic. And it wasn't like it was on a small sample. We're talking about 138 attempts. It's not nothing. That's a healthy sample to say, oh, He has touch around the basket. He doesn't have bad hands. If he had bad hands, he'd have 5 turnovers per game. Prove he has bad hands. You can't. All you can do is pull some past history, anecdotal evidence when he had broken hands. Get it to Big Zoo and get out the damn way. Because this guy, well, he's made it clear to a few different players that he can also be nasty. Ask Domantas Sabonis. Ask Jericho Sims. Ask the Spurs. Ask Rudy Gobert. Ask Pascal Siakam. Ask Bobby. There is a confidence to Ivica Zubac around the rim where he is looking for a body and looking to embarrass someone. He just needs more opportunities. Guys, he can't be at 26 minutes per game next season. That's the only thing that's been holding him back. Somebody hit me up on X after I tweeted out he's the 3rd most important player on the team. He is, when you account for offense now and what he's been doing defensively for them, saving them at times on that end, doing everything. Someone said a 10-9 guys are 3rd best player. Yikes. Well, first of all, that's somewhat inaccurate. Ivica Zubac's numbers were higher than that overall. He was last season 12-9. But that doesn't tell you or represent the entire picture. He only got 26 minutes per game. Actually less than he got the year before. I don't know why. I know he got injured at one point. I'm not sure that was it. It just seems like he almost has been getting a rookie treatment or is on the shortest leash possible. When he messes up, he doesn't get the same opportunities to fail. I think that's about to change. I do. I think Coach Lou trusts him. He did in the playoff series, and that's how his numbers went up. Because if you look at his per 36 numbers throughout his entire career, well, if he gets 36 minutes last season, he's likely putting up 16 and 12. That's where he's at. Has to watch out for foul trouble, but he's been okay overall in that area. I know he fouled out before he got to 30-30 against the Indiana Pacers a couple of years ago, and that was unfortunate. He should have had that milestone. Still a crazy game showing off just how amazing he can be, how incredible he can be, how much potential there is for this center that is coming into his own, I believe, right now. Age of 27. Athletically still in his prime, and things are going to start slowing down even more. I think I made a meme one time or a Photoshop edit of Keyshawn Johnson, Give Me the Damn Ball, his book, and I put Ivica Zubac's face on it. That's how I feel about Ivica Zubac. It's so simple, guys. Instead of settling for jumpers and tough shots, you need to get easier shots. That is something the Clippers have needed to generate for a long time. And it's no longer an option to do so. It's a necessity because no Paul George. So how do you make up for some of that production? Big Zoo's going to be a part of that. And he's coming off a series where he just outplayed Paul George and averaged 16-9 against the Dallas Mavericks and showed great footwork, awareness, heart. I've always trusted him in big games, in big moments. Seems like he embraces them. There's a level of almost cockiness to Big Zoo that I like. Like, remember this clip on Podcast P? I know, but for the sake of this Ivica Zubac quote, I want you to hear it. He's been like this. He has been someone that has wanted a larger role, going back to his Laker days. And by the way, he's had some of his best games against the Lakers, some of his best games against Anthony Davis. He had last season a 22-19 game where they lost by 3. mounted a comeback late, and I thought he outplayed AD. I thought he did. He got 37 minutes in that game. More Zoo, more problems for the opposition. That's typically how it works. Coach Lou, part of it is he likes to play small sometimes. If you have the personnel, I'm all for it. They certainly had it in 2021, the playoffs, and it worked beautifully. And at that time, Big Zoo's coming off, that series against the Golden State Warriors in 2019 where he got played off the court at times. But he's not that guy anymore. He has progressed so much further since then. And they kept him on the court against Luka Doncic, who he still hit some incredible tough shots against. Zoo also blocked him on one of his patented step-back fadeaways this year, showing some growth there. Just staying step for step with Luka Doncic. You could just see he's not the same player. He's progressing. He is arriving. And I don't know what his ceiling is. I think all-star with the front court players we have in the West. It goes backcourt, front court, I think, with voting. And just all-star voting, you never really count on anyways. I mean, Yao Ming's still getting voted in probably. Sasa. But can he forget all-star? Can this season, are these realistic expectations? Get to me in the comments section. Can he make an all-defensive team? I think so. Can he be in the hunt for most improved player? There's going to be more of a spotlight on him. He's going to be more of a focal point. People are going to be watching him. And there's a chance, if he really shines, he starts off the year averaging 15 and 10 in the opening month. People are going to take notice. And I think he's capable of that. In fact, I think he's capable of averaging 17 and 10, 17 and 11 this season. It's just dependent on minutes. And I don't know why he wouldn't be playing more. If he gets the minutes, he'll get the numbers, he'll give you the production. Period. Fully believe that. He's my favorite Clipper, I should say, full disclosure, because I feel like he's been overlooked and undervalued. And those are the guys I root for. It's close to home. No, it's just, I like his style. I like his effort and energy. I know he wasn't drafted as a Clipper, but he's been here for a while now and been in Southern California his entire career. And we see him play internationally. I tend to gravitate towards those guys. My dad, we always liked the international guys back in the day. Different skill set. Sarunas Marciulionis, Drazen Petrovic, guys like that. And now you see it at the highest level with what we saw from Dirk and now Jokic and Luka Doncic. But his potential is tantalizing. It fascinates me to think about what Ivica Zubac could do if they really give him a green light, if they give him the keys, if they show the confidence in him that I think he has in himself. I don't think he's lacking any confidence. I think he knows that this is his time. There's a few guys right now that have a chance to prove something. Terrence Mann is another. I'd expect him to get an extension too. We'll see what happens with that. But I wasn't surprised at all seeing this news with Ivica Zubac today, and I couldn't be happier. I wasn't even having a good day. And for some reason, Big Zoo getting $60 million made me feel better too. Turned my day around. He's easy to root for, man. He's one of the fan favorites. My God, Patrick Beverley, after he left the Clippers, after they moved him, came back to a game wearing an Ivica Zubac jersey on the sidelines, courtside, was rooting on Ivica Zubac. Like, the players like him. I remember this clip of Kawhi giving him props after having a big game.
Yes, sir.
And my goodness, he has had some. It flummoxes me. It's mind-boggling that they will talk about trying to get him more involved, and then they do for a quarter or a game or two, and then they just forget about him. I keep joking about it. I should probably just do it at some point, but Chuck Mockler might be right. We talked about this earlier on Clips and Dip as we did a live at 5. The parody I'm going to do, at least on World 2 or 2, I'm probably not never going to do it here. I just talk about it and fantasize about it. It's my little fan fiction. The parody of Dre's Forgot About Dre on the 2001 album or the Chronic 2. Yeah. Forgot About Zoo is what always seems to happen. It is Memento with Guy Pearce with him. I don't know why. It's not the coaching staff. It's not the players. It's everybody. It's not one in particular person. Really, it's not. It's just he gets lost in the shuffle. He has been in the past. I don't expect that to happen much more. How's a guy go from playing 37 minutes, getting 22 and 19 one game to playing 28 minutes the next game? That happened after that game against AD and the Lakers. How does a guy who has given Nikola Jokic 2 of the worst shooting games of his career, which happened over this past season where he went 9 for 32 against Zoo in one and 8 for 23 against Zoo in another, not get more run, not get talked about enough for how good he's been defensively? He does get up to play against Jokic in particular, it seems like. He's had his highest scoring game against Jokic. Zoo had 32. Jokic, I think, still had almost 40. And the Denver ended up winning that game, but Zoo was trying to match him bucket for bucket. The amount and the array of shots that he can hit, in the paint, I think his offensive game could be much larger and grander and special than people have any idea. Just because he hasn't had a chance to show it. Now he has to meet the opportunity. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I think he's been standing by. I think he's been ready for this. I think he's prepared. I think he has the tools. He's more than capable of proving that the Clippers are still getting a bargain, even with this 3-year extension for almost $60 million. I don't know if it means he's going to start hitting threes or anything, but yeah, that he finally got an opportunity to show that one game at the end of 2021. I just want Big Zoo to be unleashed because I have full faith that he's going to prove the Zoo truthers like myself right, and the doubters and the detractors and the haters and people that quite honestly don't understand basketball and how you win in this league and what's important and don't look at the advanced stats ever, which always favor Big Zoo. And I know the coaching staff and the front office know all these things, but he was second in the league last season when it came to defending the pick and roll. The only guy better was Rudy Gobert. Tell me that's a meaningless stat when the only guy better was Rudy Gobert. Was he have 4 Defensive Player of the Years now? So big day for Big Zoo. Big day, I believe, for Clipper Nation. You should be rejoicing and praising this and feel good about the fact that one of your youngerish players that is still entering his prime is locked up throughout his prime now. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to go into a season and say, who's our center? Who's our starting center? You have a Mr. Consistent there. That position is taken care of. Next 4 seasons, Big Zoo a Clipper. All right. Maybe, I don't know if I do another show on Monday. Thought about doing something up for Terrence Mann. Maybe I will. I didn't expect to be doing this today, but I can't talk about the Clippers enough. I can't talk about Ivica Zubac enough. I mean, this is it. This is one of the most intriguing storylines to this season and will determine a lot of the Clippers' success. If Big Zoo has a big year, they're in the hunt for getting out of the plan. I think he's the 3rd most important player. I hope I have given you reasons to believe that too, and believe in Zoo. If you didn't like him before, if you didn't understand his worth, if you're saying, hey, what do you mean, Adam? Look at his career numbers. 9-7. Ho hum, not that special. Yeah. That includes a career minutes per game of 21. Get it up to 30 plus this season. Have to. If you're skeptical, and I think it's fair to be, if you are curious and have a little bit of trepidation regarding the backup center position, well, here is a way to mitigate some of those concerns. Play Big Zoo more. So the backup is only getting 12 minutes a night. That was an issue last year. I don't know how he was only playing 26 minutes. This year, 30 plus. He averaged 33 in the playoff series. I really believe that's a sign of things to come. Make it 32. I want to be accurate as always. Here's the Big Zoo, making a big impact, proving the doubters wrong, and proving Zoo Nation and Zoo Alcindor fans and guys like me that when he has a dunk, when he's hanging from the rim and kicks his legs out, and I go back to the old Shaquille O'Neal Reebok logo and do the side-by-side comparison, prove us right. Please. We're all rooting for you. We are in your corner, Zoo. Do it this year. I'm certain you will. I'm Adam Osland. This has been another edition of Clippers Talk. If you need to get a hold of me, I'm at Follow Adam A on X, at Clippers Talk on YouTube now, at Clippers Talk Follow Adam A on Instagram, and at Clippers Talk on TikTok. Those are all the social media platforms. Some I hate, less than others. But yes, we will talk to you later next week. Enjoy Labor Day.